How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a special TV edition of Silver Screen and Chill podcast. My name is Matt.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Ian.
And today we're talking about two big shows that are on TV now, The Walking Dead and Vinyl. So let's start off with Vinyl, right? You guys have seen that?
Yeah, Vinyl was awesome. It's a show on HBO. It's about the music industry, not the movie industry. The music industry in the 1970s. Not exactly sure what the actor's name is, who's the main character, but he played Gip on Boardwalk Empire, if anyone watched that.
Yeah, he was really good in that show, too.
Yeah, and he's really good in Vinyl.
Yeah,
he's
incredible.
Awesome.
What's his name? Is Richie?
Richie.
Okay.
And he plays a music executive that created his own label.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. It starts off as a 2-hour episode, and it was directed by Martin Scorsese. So
that's a Scorsese movie.
No, it was. I was
was.
watching it, and probably like 40 minutes, maybe to an hour in, and I forgot I was watching a show.
Yeah,
You really get sucked in. I loved it. I thought it was really good. Scorsese, the directing is really good, the acting is really good, the soundtrack is badass.
Because you've just heard about how much Scorsese actually loves music, and you could tell that him and HBO used all of their pull to get whatever the fuck
Terrence
they wanted
Winter,
to
too.
play. Terrence Winter, yeah.
Boardwalk.
And Mick Jagger is a part of
Mick
this
Jagger's
project.
executive producer.
Yeah.
He also did the James Brown movie, which was pretty good. That was on HBO, too.
Okay.
Well, I would expect nothing less from I was going to say a movie. A show
Basically,
about music having a
Mhm.
strong musical.
I think it's about time we got a music show. I know HBO. As far as I know, they haven't had music shows. I know they had Flight of the Conchords, but this is a lot different of a music.
Yeah.
That was more like a musical.
That was like a sketch. Yeah. That was like a sketch comedy.
Yeah, and this is more like about music, and I think that's why not? Why is it taking this long to have a music-based show on HBO where there's, let me run it down for you: sex, drugs, sex. Rock and roll and more sex.
And
drugs.
And a little bit of not a little bit of drugs. There's plenty of drugs in this show.
You actually reversed that. All I said was sex, drugs instead. Way more drugs.
But it's just it's just really interesting. And the 70s were such a great time in America for movies and music.
Oh yeah.
And so
some of the best.
And the culture is just interesting. I love how the people dress.
Mm-hmm.
Which means nothing to it doesn't really mean anything, but just the whole vibe of that show was really, you feel cool, you know?
Yeah, you really do. It's like Almost Famous.
Yeah.
The movie, yes.
It's a rated R.
Yeah.
NC-17, Almost Famous.
And like I said, it's about time. I'm sure they're asking Mick Jagger, like, hey, what crazy stuff did you do?
Yeah.
Let's just write that down.
Yeah.
Because there's also Empire. Isn't Empire? I mean,
I
know that's
no. I haven't seen Empire.
Network show.
I haven't seen Empire. It's really good though. It's more about rap, right?
Yeah, it's more about
still
rap.
music though.
And is it more original music?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so's this though. They have a lot of fake
They
bands
did.
on here.
They did have fake bands, but
except Led Zeppelin's.
Also, you would expect all fake bands from a show like this, even as being HBO. But they got a Led Zeppelin on it. So
I think talking about the time in music without mentioning someone big like Led Zeppelin.
That's very.
Oh
true.
yeah. Well, the first episode I haven't seen it, but a lot of it revolves around they're trying to sign Led Zeppelin to their contract, but the contract sucked. It's terrible.
Oh
contract.
yeah, because Richie is he's like a sleaze bag.
Yeah,
oh, he's not. I wouldn't call him a sleaze bag, but he's
an
trying to rip
executive.
people off. Yeah,
he's an executive in a music store.
Right.
Of course, he's kind of a sleaze bag.
Yeah, and this is random, but Ray Romano's in it.
I had no idea Ray Romano's in this.
Ray Romano is one of the main executives with Richie, and I kept on listening to him. I was thinking, that sounds so freaking
That sounds
familiar.
like freaking Ray Romano.
Does everybody love him?
Yeah, everyone.
Oh god.
No.
Is he a hated character?
He's not a hated character. But
That's
he's
right. I haven't seen it. I gotta contribute.
Yeah, you gotta
something.
do something.
I gotta contribute something.
No, Ray Romano was good in it. Okay, I don't know if this is true. I went and did a little internet research. Ray Romano is going to be nude in this show. I'm not even kidding you. I saw a thing. I don't know if it was fake or maybe an Onion. Maybe it was an Onion article, but it said why Ray Romano got naked for the Scorsese show. I don't know if I'm ready for a naked Ray Romano.
Well, at least he did a naked Ray Romano, not naked Jonah Hill.
Was it Jonah Hill naked?
Oh no, I'm just saying. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Wait,
for
he's going to be in this, huh?
choosing
Jonah Hill gonna be in it?
your
I
nude.
think, isn't he?
No,
Oh,
I'm just talking about that
else,
he
okay.
worked with Scorsese.
Oh, yeah,
He
okay,
was
that's
never
right.
naked.
Well, you got his. I think that it's his fake dick in Wolf on Wall Street.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, when he's
jerking it to Margot Robbie.
I remember that.
He's like, she's perfect.
Now, Vinyl was awesome. Like I said, good acting. The soundtrack was great.
No, obviously Scorsese, so the directing is incredible.
Yeah, I don't know how much he's gonna have to do with the show after the first episode. I feel like he does that a lot. He did with Boardwalk, I believe, right?
Yeah, well, I think that he's always going to be there for important decisions. He's not going to just, like a TV show with anything, unless it's True Detective. A lot of other people come in and have their own input on the show, which is cool. But Scorsese's going to be like, hey, that's stupid. Let's not do that. I think that's why he's there.
Vinyl's really, like I said, I don't know why it's taking so long for them to get this kind of a show going. I think it's just kind of a hard demographic to market towards, because like my dad will watch it, because he 70s and rock and roll and stuff. But like, I don't know how many kids, how many people our age will be into the idea of like classic rock.
Yeah.
I think it's fun concept.
What's cool is, building on your point, is HBO has just been so successful for so long. It's not like they're taking a huge risk with making a music show, but like you're saying, like there is some risk to it, so they can be just like, let's fucking do it. Like,
yeah, let's have like this show going on. It's great. I really enjoyed it. I was really entertained.
It's not like most HBO shows where there's a lot of killing and all. I mean,
there is a killing.
There's a killing, but it's not all about that. And
that will play a big part in it, though.
Oh, now it's going to. But it is mostly about the music and just the struggles and like we keep on saying, it's built on an interesting story and excellent acting. You
know what I liked too? I liked that not only they have pretty much the three genres of like rock music. They had like your classic rock, 70s Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
They got your punk rock with this band called Nasty Bits.
Nasty Bits, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of playing like a Sex Pistols vibes.
Yeah.
Punk probably hasn't come out yet, huh? It's probably like emerging in this show.
Yeah.
I assume, because they're all like, what is this sound? It sounds so raw. And then they have your they have rock and roll, like blues,
Oh yeah, because he builds that relationship with that black guy.
Yeah,
Lester.
Lester, that's right.
And they
tell that guy's gonna get screwed soon.
Yeah. Well, he already got screwed.
Yeah, that's right. He already got screwed. Oh, that's right. That's so messed up.
He already got screwed, but because. Well, we'll let you. We won't ruin everything because this show's so incredible. We don't have to ruin it to talk about how great it is.
Is it going to be a long running series, or does it look like something?
They already renewed it for
they're going to make?
2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking like maybe they would either do it a long series or if they
a mini like a little
like
extended series. No, like I kind of thought that too, but now because they did something weird when they showed the previews for the next episode, they showed an extended preview for like it's in the weeks to come.
Mm-hmm.
So and I started watching that and I was like, this show could run like 5-6 years if it's good, like if they want to stick with it.
I wonder how long it'll last though, because I looked it up and the ratings were no one watched it. It got really bad. It did not do well.
Oh, wow.
It came out the same night as the Grammys, granted, but still.
It was Grammys and a 2-hour
yeah,
show.
it's not doing too hot in the ratings department. That's for sure.
We didn't help. I watched it yesterday. So.
Yeah, something like under 1 million viewers.
Oh, wow,
something
that's
crazy.
super
Yeah, and
low.
usually they had like. I know most HBO shows about 1 million viewers or so, but yeah, this didn't do too well.
The Game of Thrones premiere will probably be ridiculous.
They added that onto it too, but even that didn't help the ratings, and the reviews aren't like as stellar as I thought they were going to be. It's pretty mixed to negative. A lot of the professional big name critics, they mostly it's like mixed to positive, but like a lot of the audience, just the general public aren't really digging it too much.
Oh, wow.
They think it's not that great. I don't know what it is.
Super intriguing.
Yeah, I was I didn't find out any of this until after I watched the show, but I thought it was really good, and I was kind of surprised by the semi-negative reaction. Maybe not acclaimed reaction is what I should say.
See, because like you said, they bring in 3 different genres, and this guy is interesting because he just has such an ear for music, and he's a really good actor, and there's a lot of different people in the show. I actually like the part when because a lot of people, just like in the music industry, there are a lot of the guys that work at American Century, which is his business.
His company. Yeah.
They're pretentious,
so
they're all sitting in the music room and they're listening to ABBA, and they're like, "Oh, this band fucking sucks."
And he's like, "This."
And then he comes in, and he goes, "I listen to 3 bars, and I know these people are gonna be playing at the Super Bowl."
Yeah, they say they're gonna be filling football stadiums.
Yeah.
And he wasn't wrong. I mean, it's a fictional character,
I just
but
saw
I mean,
Mamma Mia, so.
Yeah.
The ABBA's great.
But yeah, the guy has a really good ear for music. Something that I kind of a little bit different about this show is this is a TV drama where the main character or the protagonist is not a total dirtbag.
He's not.
He's not an awful guy. Look, he's
The worst thing he does is he's kind of sketchy with contract
drug.
details.
Yes.
Oh,
well,
and he's an addict.
yeah, but
Excellent.
he's not like, as far as I know,
Yeah.
he's not cheating on his wife. Has he cheated on his wife in the show? I don't remember if he.
I
has
think
or
he
not.
got a lot of. I think he shredded through some poontang early
Before the
on
show, probably?
Before his show, but
I assume
yeah,
that.
you could tell that he actually, because his wife is played by Olivia Wilde. You could tell that he loves his family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
she's hot.
he's not a total dirtbag in the sense that like a lot of shows we get nowadays are pretty much anti-heroes.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
All
I
started
feel
with
poor guy, he
Breaking
hasn't
Bad.
had anything to say. But a lot of the shows are like a lot of anti-heroes. As he is a sleazeball because he's really trying to screw over these bands. In that sense, he is. But he's really.
But it's just
Not
in
too
that
hateable.
sense. Yeah, and just like what they say.
I'm rooting for the guy.
Yeah, because like what anyone says, business is business. It's not personal. So
Yeah.
it's not like he's trying to make the most money for him and his family. So it's not like you
Yeah.
said, he's not a dirtbag.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So no, I would highly recommend the show. I think another thing that kind of adds to the show too is vinyl is so in right now. Like a lot of people like buying records now.
Retro in
And
general.
So, yeah, so then you seeing the records being played, and
Mhm.
it's just a cool feeling.
One of my
cool.
favorite moments. I'm sorry, I'm gonna totally spoil it, but still watch it. Okay, it's still really good.
Who dies?
Regardless, I won't tell you who dies, but I'll tell you something that happens. It's pretty much the end of the episode. I'm gonna get into real over-analyzation pretentiousness right now. A real college over-analyzation right now.
We'll do
but-
your typical YouTube show.
Yeah. That ending. He's sitting in his car. This is the main character, Richie, by the way.
Richie.
He's sitting in his car. He's blown out of his mind. His life is pretty much crumbling. His family, is on the brink of just disintegrating. He's probably in trouble with the law now. This dude's sitting in the car, contemplating a lot of things, and then he gets dragged into probably the greatest rock and roll gig you could ever go to. I mean, they're playing the Personality Crisis. The house is literally shaking because they're just like jamming so hard. And you see him in the audience, and he's standing there. He's all high, you know what I mean? He's just looking.
Did a lot of
And
coke
then,
before
yeah.
this.
And then all of a sudden, you can see him think, this is what it was all about. This is why I got into this business, because of shows like this. No, obviously, this is before a lot of bad things happened.
Yeah.
But some bad things happen at the show. But if you notice afterwards, he gets up and he walks away with just a limp.
Mhm.
So that makes me believe that he's going to come out okay in this whole legal problems that he's having.
And with him walking out with just a limp, though, the building actually collapses.
Yes, the building collapses.
And I remember thinking, is this real? I texted him. I was
Yes.
like, is this real?
I thought it was a dream.
And then he gets up and he starts walking, like you said, with the limp. And I was like, wow. That was insane.
I think that's a little preview of there's him in the audience, just, the music's there, it's having a good time, and then rock and roll pretty much caves in on him,
Yeah.
But he gets up and he's good, so let's hope that our hero
It's
is...
like no matter what
That sounds
he's
like
gonna
a
go.
good analysis. of
Yeah,
foreshadowing.
like nothing's like there's gonna go shit's gonna go down.
Oh, yeah.
But he's gonna be fine, and I hope so because like we
Yeah.
said, I actually
I'm rooting for him.
I'm
I don't
rooting
want
for
this
the
man.
marriage,
Yeah.
And obviously, if he's saying he's walking out with a limp, that shows like he won't.
He won't
get
come out
completely.
unscathed.
Yeah, he won't. He'll-
Okay, he's not gonna get out. And they even kind of hint to previous next episodes, like he has a bit of an epiphany, laying in that rubble, probably almost dying, and he's like, "We got to get this thing going."
and it's cool because they're gonna go more into the nasty bits, which is like you said,
Punk rock. That'll
it
be
is
interesting.
kind of the Sex Pistols now that you
Yeah,
brought that
yeah,
up.
it's very punk
So,
rock.
Yeah, it sounds really cool.
But
Because it makes total sense now because they might discover punk rock,
Mhm.
and the whole thing with them is they're losing money and they're trying to sell the company. And he's telling Ray Romano, I forget the character's name, that
Yeah,
just trust
Zach, I
me,
think,
just
or
trust
something
me,
like that,
yeah. And so hopefully he will trust them, and
Yeah.
they'll do fine.
It sounds really good.
it's a good show, man. I mean, we
You're
spoiled a
blowing
lot,
me-
but it's gonna be good surprise, get some good plot.
You're
twists.
blowing me away with this that it got bad or not totally great reviews and no one watched it.
Yeah, go look it up.
Yeah.
I could be, maybe it's just new, but I looked it up and they said the ratings were pretty.
Maybe people saw
not that
2
great.
hours and didn't.
That's what I think. I
Yeah,
think 2 hours is a little
It sounds
ambitious.
intimidating.
No, it was like a movie.
I,
It was
Yeah,
a
it's
movie.
I
movie-like.
treated it kind of. Well, I had to because I was going to work, but I treated it as a 2-part episode.
Oh yeah, I think you took a break, right?
Okay.
I sat through and watched it. I forgot, I forgot it was a show after a while. I was like, well, this is a movie.
No, it was really cool.
It's great, and I can't think of his name, but Richie is doing a fantastic job.
I call him Gip because he was just so awesome in Boardwalk.
Yeah, he was really cool.
So.
But that's Vinyl. If you haven't seen it and we haven't ruined it for you completely, please watch it. Please save the show. Well, it's already on for another season, so at least we'll get 2 years of it.
Yes,
That's crazy that it's renewed and it didn't get bad reviews. Like that, usually the first episode takes off and everyone's like, okay.
I read a reason why they did that. I read it on a blogging site. I can't remember the blogger's name. I apologize, but just look up. It'll Google search. It'll pop up instantly. They said that HBO is not concerned about ratings. Not concerned about, because all they're worried about is the awards and all the publicity it's going to get after. So they're not too worried about how it's performing now. That's why they renewed it so quickly.
It's funny. I've been listening to a lot of different things, mostly the Nerdist podcast, and they talk about how that more and more people are going towards there's usually in TV there's a big community, a big board that makes decisions, but more and more there's people like the guy who leads the Marvel team for the Disney, Kevin
Feige.
Yeah. And
wow, how'd you come up with that one?
I knew he knew the answer to that.
God.
But
No.
but it's not a board. It's this guy who has a vision and he's gonna follow through with it, and they're starting to trust people more like that, because now that you're saying it's not, because sometimes, especially with television, it's not like a movie. You need to have a few episodes to build things into. If you look at some of the Breaking Bad, some people thought the first season was boring. I personally loved every second of it, but you needed that first season, or Walt wouldn't be who Walt was. So it's cool to hear what you're saying. It's really cool to hear.
They're taking a lot of risks now with TV, and it's really cool to see.
I think
a lot of them are paying off.
Yeah, and I think with HBO it's a very similar thing. With Netflix is one, they're getting big money from all direct television, everyone that's paying extra for the channel, and now that they have the HBO Now app, I think it's Now, where you could just buy a subscription to HBO, and it's not cheap, so they have the money, I think, to say, hey, this show's gonna be bitchin', let's stick through it.
You know, man, you're giving me hours of entertainment on a Sunday night. I have no problem paying for that.
Love you, HBO.
Yeah, for HBO, you're killing it, man.
You're out there.
Still.
All right, let's go to another great cable television show. And
take over, guys. I don't watch Walking Dead, so I'm just going to
talking about this opening season episode of The Walking Dead. Yeah, so this episode, it obviously takes off. Or it's the second half of this last season, right? It's not even a new season.
Yeah,
they cut in two.
They always cut them. Yeah, they started doing it in half. It gets kind of annoying.
I'm getting done with that.
It's AMC does it. Yeah, they cut their season
They're
in
just
half.
milking it.
Yeah.
So this is taken off from the first half, I guess, then of this season, where zombies have just overrun Alexandria, the town that they're living in, and they have to they all cover themselves in blood to kind of walk through, and it picks up.
Just like how they had in previous.
Is that repel zombies or something? They think they're zombies.
Yeah. So
Shaun of the Dead style.
It's established in later in the first season. I think.
A little bit more complicated than Shaun of the Dead. Yeah. Shaun of the Dead, they only walk. That's excellent.
They find out that if you cover them, like zombies can work on scent kind of too. So what they do is they cover themselves in zombie guts.
And what's cool,
so zombies think you just kind of move slow and not
affected that way.
They put bed sheets over themselves. They wear stuff. So they basically put the bed sheet over.
And I guess since you haven't seen it, it's a big part that.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm asking questions.
They're all technically infected.
Oh, okay.
So, because in The Walking Dead, it's like.
You don't even have to get bitten by a zombie.
Yeah.
If you die,
if you just die by natural causes, or you die like someone shoots you in the chest and you die, you turn into a zombie.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's.
All right, go on.
So they're all walking through, and then so that's where they pick up, and then it picks up with Daryl, Sasha, and Abraham getting ambushed by. I thought that would be a bigger part.
Okay, I did kind of have a problem because with not a huge problem, but like Daryl, Abraham, and Sasha are just running through, and they get stopped by this motorcycle gang. And I heard a lot of people were excited about that because I think those guys were in the comics.
They're bosses. When he says all your stuff belongs to Negan, Negan is.
Oh, I thought that guy was Negan.
No, Negan is. He's a big, huge antagonist right now in the Walking Dead comics. He's the bad guy right now. He's
I've actually
a serious contender, which is what I was gonna say. Kind of bummed me out about it is they get blown up.
They legitimately, Daryl pulls out a rocket launcher and it just shoots it.
That was so out of nowhere. They just get blown up. I'm like, those guys are really serious, and like their boss is a huge villain of the show.
I bet comic fans weren't thrilled about that choice.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it didn't seem right.
What's cool is I've spent a lot of money on The Walking Dead because they sell huge volumes of it. So like it's like 40 issues each, and I've been reading them, and it's cool to see the subtle differences between the comic and the show. But anyway, let's get back on topic. Let's go back to the show.
Yeah, so it goes back, and then that's what happens with them so far. And then Rick and the gang and the rest of them are trying to get through the zombies. But then it leaves off with that kid.
The scared ass kid.
Yeah, the scared kid keep going, Mom, Mom, and his, it's what everyone expected. And I feel bad because what everyone said they wanted to happen happened. Everyone's like, that kid needs to die. He's getting annoying, and he does. He's.
Saw that. I saw the picture on the internet. Does he have a big old hole in his head, right?
No,
that's
not
what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
It's different.
It's coming up.
It's coming. But it is a littler kid.
Okay.
And he's constantly making noise, and he freaks out, so he gets bitten. And his mom's right next to him, and his mom freaks out and cries because her child is getting eaten, so she dies. And she was like Rick's girlfriend.
Oh yeah, they're kind of setting that up for Rick to have another love interest. And what's cool about AMC is they're not scared to kill people. If one thing I could say about The Walking Dead, I mean, obviously Rick has made it through all this, but they're not scared to kill people.
That's what I've heard.
I think they did get a little bit scared with Glenn, though.
Oh, that was kind of gay.
That was you think Glenn's down and she's
Fighting
not.
insensuality.
But like that was crazy. Yeah, but you could tell that hit Rick too. Like it's his new love interest, and she's dead.
Yeah.
And then her son, I hated that kid too. He's about to kill them, and then Michonne just slices through him, and he shoots Carl in the face. That's what you saw. Carl, Rick's son,
it was really funny.
Gets shot, and his eye gets taken out.
Oh my god, is that the kid in the memes who's like,
Never
he's
announced.
dead, Carl, or something like that? You know what I'm talking about? And he's like kneeling over and he's talking to the kid.
Yeah.
What's really funny is there's a thing where it shows Carl's face and it's in paint, and they do a big box over his eye, and it's them about to press cut, so and like take off his eye. So.
That guy died?
No, he didn't. He actually doesn't die. They make you think he dies
Oh.
because
the
girl's son is about to shoot them, but he gets stabbed, and as he's stabbed, he shoots, but like moves his arm off.
Did you guys think he was dead?
Oh, that's what I thought he said. Because if you look at the picture, his whole socket is just out. It's a hole straight through his head, and he's just like, "Dad," and collapses. And they carry him off to like an infirmary, and they kind of stitch him up. But then I read that it's actually in the comics. It's a comic thing. It's not that kid who shoots him in the eye. It's another character. But Carl gets his eye shot out, and he gets an eye patch, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah.
So he's gonna be like the governor, but not.
Yeah, the good guy.
Yeah, the good guy governor, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been crazy, and then I guess they kind of this was just about them taking the town back. You'd think it looked hopeless, and then they get it all back. Oh, but you also see the revelation with that the wolf guy they had captured. Remember?
Oh,
the one that Morgan first met, and he beat up, and then he later was taking the doctor away.
And then he gets eaten.
Yeah.
And then Morgan gets sad because he tried to save him and he sees a zombie.
What's interesting is you actually see that Morgan does have a point that there's good in people where Carol just wants to kill everybody. They both have their right points, but this kind of argues more for Morgan's stance because he was changing. He was a total a-hole. He was willing to kill them all. And he was asshole. Total dick.
We've gone through it now.
He's a total dick. He's a total dick.
There we go.
He's like you'd think he would sacrifice her before himself, and then he's willing to put himself in the way, and then he gets bit, and then but he's bitten, he's done, and she can get away, but she's like, I can still help you. Like she's still willing to help him, and he's willing to fight for it, and he doesn't make it.
Yeah.
And Carol shoots him.
Carol shoots him, and then he totally dies.
Yeah.
Like
so it's
absolutely no.
So it's like, oh, see, Carol, you kind of jumped to conclusions, but he was going to be good. Like he was obviously having that change there.
Yeah.
So that's
which is the kind of the ups and downs of Rick's group is. Usually Rick needs to make those decisions because he usually makes the right decisions about who to kill and who not to kill. But it was cool to see that Morgan isn't because throughout the whole thing they're kind of making you believe Morgan like you're an idiot, like you gotta take people out because that's how the world is. But you need to always have faith in people.
Yeah, that's kind of like what's that was one of my favorite episodes from the first half of the season where they show how Morgan got that ideology from.
Oh yeah.
Where he meets I can't remember the guy's name, which sucks, but he meets the guy who teaches him how to use the staff
Mm-hmm.
and like how to be more of a pacifist and not really fight unless you really need to.
Yeah.
That was a really interesting episode, so it's good to watch. And then so it looks like they're gonna save Carl though. So Carl's getting his eyes stitched, and then I was really glad they reunited Glenn and Maggie. Glenn and Maggie are my favorite.
They're cool.
Glenn's my favorite character, and Glenn and Maggie are just adorable.
But yeah, like we were talking about earlier, there was an instance where they could have killed Glenn, and I think they should have, because I don't get why the zombie. There's this whole thing where this guy kills himself, and then he falls on top of Glenn, and then there's this horde of zombies just above him, and they start eating the guy on top of him, but he gets under a trash can, he waits there, and the zombies just leave.
Okay.
Just, for me, it was just kind of like...
They left it very vague, like, did he die, did he not die? And I think a lot of people called it, like, no, if you look at the way it's angled, they're eating the guy on top of him.
People on the internet get real good at, like, looking at things like that, because there's been things like... Remember in Game of Thrones when Jon Snow died, and everybody's like, "No, look at his eyes!" And I'm like, "Wow, that was I would never pick that up."
No, look where he's filming.
Yeah, I probably could have covered that up better. Go on, continue.
I just want to go one thing on that though. Is Game of Thrones did one thing I didn't think they were gonna do with Jon Snow. Is they've embraced the kind of that he's gonna be alive a little bit on the poster. Because they show the blood in him, but why would he be on this season if...
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool that shows are seeing we can't get away. There's going to be things that are spoiled. We have to embrace it.
That's what I'm saying about, like, I guess we're going to talk about this for a really quick second, is a lot of interviews were like, all the show creators and a lot of actors were like, no, Jon Snow is dead. Like, it's like, if you read a lot of the articles, it said they confidently or like they sternly said Jon Snow is dead. That's where I'm like, yeah, because the way that they're saying it is Jon Snow is dead, but whenever he's alive, he's not going to go by Jon Snow anymore. He's going to go by a totally different name. So you can confidently say Jon Snow is dead. And it's like, I'm not lying, Jon Snow is dead because Jon, enter a different last name or enter a different title, is him now.
John, I could think of anything funny.
Stark.
No,
but yeah, going back to The Walking Dead.
Funny,
it's interesting to kind of see where this season's gonna go. It's I'm hoping because of the fact that Daryl obliterated that group of guys.
Yeah, there's gonna be some conflict there.
Yeah, so Negan's definitely gonna be pissed about that and come in, and that's where he's gonna be. He's a bad character. He's a bad and scary, not bad as in horrible.
The one thing that I actually kind of liked a little bit more about the comic than the show is within the comic, they go from the prison to Alexandria. There's no other in between. And even, what was it, Tremor? What was the place they went to? Tremors? Or what?
Terminus.
Terminus. I don't know, I was thinking Tremor. But Terminus. And I thought that part was cool, but this show seems like they kind of just hop from place to stay. And they kind of circulate similar themes.
Yeah.
Not saying this show is so incredible. I really enjoy it. The character development for me alone is worth this show's time.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, I like them kind of when they're on the run, and I think I wouldn't trust any place, especially after Alexandria has gone down.
Yeah. If they're gonna do is showing that it's gonna go down again. Like I think it's eventually they're gonna come to that realization. Like everywhere we go, it's only good for so long because it's. Yeah, the show has to end eventually. Yeah. But so I think what's going to happen.
Not the way it's looking, man. It's a big show. They say Breaking Bad got all this critical acclaim. It did, but it didn't get anywhere near the viewers and cash flow that Walking Dead is having.
That's very true.
This could be the biggest show on TV. What do you think? Is that the biggest show on TV?
It is the biggest show on TV.
I think hands down.
Ratings-wise and everything, it is.
Yeah, and like you're the one that told me this is especially because I was a part of it. I watched the first season of Breaking Bad because my dad told me to, but then I moved away, and then I didn't have cable and stuff like that. And a lot of people, when it moved to Netflix, is when Breaking Bad really gained its fan base.
Well, Vince Gilligan has said it saved the series.
It saved the series.
Because especially Breaking Bad had the unfortunate responsibility of being the first drama on AMC. Who's gonna watch AMC? You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna watch it for Jaws or something like that. I remember specifically. We're getting off track, but I'm just.
No.
I remember specifically sitting in my room, and my dad called me from the front of my cell phone. He goes, "Hey, are you watching this show right now on AMC?" I was like, "No, what's he talking about?" this show, the dad from Malcolm in the Middle's on it, and he's making meth. It's really freaking me out, but it's really good. And I was like, what the hell? And I turned it on. But my point is that AMC, they had the unfortunate responsibility of bringing that in. But once that got big, and they did Walking Dead, which zombies... My point is, Breaking Bad had the unfortunate responsibility of bringing AMC to the forefront. But luckily, Walking Dead benefited a lot from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so too. And with Breaking Bad had a strong Netflix presence, like we just said, and Walking Dead had that immediately. Breaking Bad didn't have that immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Walking Dead was on Netflix right afterwards. So if you did miss a season, you just watched it on. That's what I did with The Walking Dead.
Netflix is really just
very
safe
helpful
shows.
tool.
It's great, and especially for me personally, there's certain shows where it's kind of cool to have a break in between, and have some suspense, and have you being able to talk about it between the week. But for me, I like binge watching The Walking Dead.
Some shows I have to binge watch. I watched Nip Tuck. There's no way I would have sat for a week and waited. What's gonna happen on Nip Tuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I had to sit there and binge that.
Yeah, we're in that age now where sometimes if it's like if you didn't know anything about a show and you heard about it, or it'd be like, hey, have you heard of this show? It's already on its 3rd season, and there would be no way for you to catch up. Like, well, I guess I'm not watching that show. It's on its 3rd season. There's no way I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then the
Or I can
season DVD box set's like
Oh my
$100.
God, yeah, you'd be like, oh, I'll go spend $80 and catch up on the show. I don't know if I like.
Yeah, so it's really risky. But now Netflix, it's like, oh, let me binge watch it or start it. Oh, I like it. So now I can keep up day to day and.
Somewhere, some blockbuster executive went, "You could have rented it at my store."
Did they have? I remember I went to like a Hollywood Video or something like that, and they had like certain sections of season 1 of Sopranos. So like 6 episodes. So it's like
such a pain.
so I'm gonna spend $10 each on these. I'm
But
gonna
at
spend
least
$50.
with that, you can find out if you like the first section of the season.
By the way, that was on VHS, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
take that into account. Anyways, go back to what you guys were saying.
Yeah, but I think that's hilarious still. I still think it's
Shout out to
VHS. It's like, yes, Ian, this is Tom from Hollywood Video. We show that you have tape 1 of season 1 of The Sopranos.
That's what I'm saying, man. There's no
Like,
way.
what?
Shout out to Hollywood Video that used to be on Baranka.
Oh my God! Remember that? Now everyone knows we live somewhat around.
Yeah.
We're getting murdered.
Okay.
If they find my house for me just saying Baranka,
You
I was probably into some deep shit.
Okay, go back to Walking Dead. We got way off track, sort of.
A little bit. But no, I think this season's going to be really good, especially because they're obviously going to bring in bigger characters, because they eliminated, like, 3 characters in this episode.
I think that's why the show we just talked about, which we're not trying to take away from this, was they have balls killing certain characters,
Yeah.
like they cojones.
Except for Glenn.
But they probably go, man, I really want to bring this character in, but he's not going to have a lot of screen time.
So
Let's kill this guy, and then we
Yeah.
can give this guy his screen time, which makes
Yeah.
sense. It totally
You get
makes
some
sense.
you get some show credibility when you're okay with killing your leads.
I've watched the show and I've seen it, and you see a guy kind of die early on who you didn't think was going to die. You're like, man, I'll give this show a shot.
Yeah.
Ian's completely right with that show credibility comment.
One show in particular, Boardwalk.
Oh,
When they killed. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen Boardwalk, they killed Jimmy.
oh yeah, that's
Whoa!
awesome. Wow, this show's got some.
That
balls.
was crazy. That was nuts. But yeah, so I'm sure Walking Dead has that pool.
It does. So it's obviously going to be a really good season, so definitely worth checking it out.
Coral.
Coral.
It's a British actor doing a southern accent, and he does really well as playing Rick. But for some reason, he can't say Carl when he
Coral.
yells. He says Coral.
This is a little side thing.
Coral.
Get
It's
back in
something
the
I need to
house,
talk
or actually
about.
get out of the house. Carl, you know what? Carl's grown as
Carl,
grown
don't
as a
shoot Fish on
character.
the eye.
Was he irritating at first?
Oh,
I
Carl
don't even
was
remember.
because he wasn't.
He was a little kid in a zombie
Yeah,
world.
he was a little kid in the zombie world, so he's
Probably
obviously
wasn't a good actor.
he's disobedient. It's like always the meme before was where's Carl because he's never in the house because Carl at a point couldn't defend himself and they'd be like Carl get back in the house, Carl get back in the house. He'd never be in the fucking house, never fucking be in the house.
That's why you're
And-
Was he kind of a useless
Yeah.
character for a while?
At first, and then since the actor was getting older and
Right.
Carl himself the character was getting older,
Mhm.
they teach him how to shoot and he's being like that ambitious kind of person where he wants to help, so they teach him how to shoot and he actually like becomes like more aggressive and wanting to help.
When do you guys think they're gonna kill the lead dude, the main character?
They're eventually gonna.
Think
Do you
not
know
gonna
if Rick
kill him?
dies in the comic? I don't know if Rick dies in the comic.
Oh, they're following by the comic, and they're not doing.
No, I don't know if they're.
No, they have definitely
It's a
not
mix of
followed. They haven't followed it step by step.
You're gonna
Yeah.
pull Game of Thrones and just start, unless they already have.
Well,
completely
we're
veered
so-
They
off.
just know where they need to end and just move forward.
With certain things, they veer off and then they come back to it.
Mhm.
But though I think because just like what we talked about, I think that they love that they know that that's the show that people feed off, that they kill people, and they think it's really
It's
cool.
exciting.
Yeah, and they still
So,
have.
they'll kill Rick, I think, eventually.
Unlike Game of Thrones, they still have source material to work on. They still have further comics to go through. And Game of Thrones is passing the books.
Yeah,
It already has.
we just talked about show credibility. Remember when they killed Ned Stark?
Yeah, that was very emotional.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
him in particular got very emotional watching that.
You're just watching. You're like, okay, well,
I kept
how are they
thinking,
gonna save
yeah, I was
Ned
like,
this
oh,
way?
so Arya is gonna do this really crazy like move and save him.
I remember thinking to myself, man, this would be lame when Arya
Yeah.
saves him. She's just a little kid, and then his head falls off.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And then it ends, and then you're like, okay, it was a dream, right? Next episode, here's his fucking head.
oh,
Like-
just to make sure, we're gonna put it on a pike.
Oh, that was terrible. And then he shows it. All right, we're getting off track.
Tyrion
Hey,
and
George
Sansa.
R. R. Martin, thank you for making it cool to kill your lead characters.
Yeah.
'Cause ever since like then, it's been great.
Yeah.
I really, you've made me sad. You made me cry,
Super
angry. But thank you.
I'll tell you the truth. I think with Walking Dead, I think we're kind of wrapping that up, right?
I think so.
There
Right.
wasn't a lot more to talk about because there's only been one episode this half of this season.
Right.
It was like the section from Hollywood Video. It's the first episode of the second half of this.
It's an hour-long show, so if it was, it'd be on one VHS.
Yeah. Good thing vinyl didn't come out in a VHS. It would have been like 2 tapes. Oh no, it would have been 1 tape, but for the first episode.
Wait, tape was only 1 hour?
No, I was gonna say that, but then I was like, no, it wasn't. There's like Titanic and
Well,
stuff like that.
I just saw something.
Titanic's on 2 VHS.
Yeah, it's on 2.
Isn't it?
So it's
Titanic's like
Scarface.
4 hours?
Titanic's
Three and a half.
You
Anyway,
guys
so
wanna-
Walking Dead, guys.
Walking
you say
Dead,
it's good?
yeah, it's good. It's something we're checking out. Starting off the season strong. But let's talk about now what we're watching this week. Anything else?
Yeah.
we can talk about?
Anybody want to start?
Well, I mean, just like the things we've been talking about recently, I'm really excited to see Better Call Saul again.
Yeah.
So,
First episode was good.
The first episode was really good. You're seeing him. You're just seeing Saul develop. And what's cool about this too is, at this point, I mean, you're interested in what's happening at the beginning of the show when they're showing the future, but you almost don't give a shit about if he ever turns into Saul. I'm just super.
That's what I was saying.
I'm in the moment
yeah.
about
Yeah.
Jimmy right now, and
Yep.
it's
Kind of
awesome.
dreading him making that turn.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually read something that Vince Gilligan was saying. At first he was worried about taking too slow.
For him to become Saul.
Yeah, taking too long for him to become Saul. But now they're worrying that they're gonna get there too fast
Oh,
They
that's
might.
awesome.
They might. I mean, they're speeding things
because
up.
he's changing. Obviously, they show like a drastic change in his character. He's
Yeah.
more willing to do the bad.
You think
things.
we're gonna get a conclusion in his future?
I heard that they might. You
Maybe
know.
not dying, but like some kind of
Oh,
conclusion.
you were saying something. About
Yeah,
that.
I was reading something about like maybe that they want to wrap up, like put a bow on that end of the story where, whether it's a whole episode of black and white Saul as Gene, the Cinnabon manager in the future, or like a longer segment somewhere down the line where it shows like, look, so that's where this guy is gonna end.
Were you
This
guys?
is-
Maybe it was just me. Were you guys kind of scared he was gonna kill himself when he was stuck in that trash thing?
Oh,
No, I think
And he
he
had the
did himself.
screw. I was like, please don't tell me Saul's gonna kill himself right now. I can't handle that.
That'd be really dark.
Well,
Yeah.
what was cool, in the Talking Dead, I mean, they did a Talking Saul
Oh,
afterwards,
doggy Saul.
and they talked about that, how Saul, no matter what his life, Saul is actually kind of who he is, or who he wants to be.
Slippin' Jimmy.
It's basically Slippin' Jimmy, and I thought that was really cool. One thing I liked, what they brought up too, is, for one, they talked about the light switch. It was the one thing he couldn't do at this new job that it's perfect for him, and he
Yeah.
did it because it's just who he is.
Told him
and,
not to.
And they asked Vince Gilligan. They said, "Oh, so what does that light switch go? What does it do?" And he goes, "Every time he flips it, someone random dies." It's just Vince Gilligan saying "fuck off."
Yeah,
it
pretty much.
doesn't matter.
He's probably, dude, that guy's probably so sick of. What did it mean in that one scene where that flower was blowing that way a little bit?
And
I
was
don't know.
Mulder in this episode of Breaking Bad?
God. So Better Call Saul, that's a good pick. I like it. I'll watch it.
It was a
for sure.
lazy pick.
That's good. We didn't talk about it, but I figured we talked about it last week, so.
But I mean, but last week it hadn't started. This week it had started.
Yeah. You're right. We could have.
So-
But we did right now, so.
Yeah. So
I've opened it up to you can be lazy about this now. You don't have to. Ian is always really creative with his Netflix picks, so we can be lazy.
Go on.
Well, to be honest, I was gonna be lazy and pick that, but it looks like I'll.
He's watching Walking Dead.
No,
You're watching OJ or the last episode of X-Files?
I haven't seen X-Files. OJ was good. I'm still watching Man Seeking Woman because I can't get enough of this show.
Yeah.
This season's been really good so far, and it's just, oh my god, this last episode in particular was so great because it addresses the issue of, like, the friend zone pretty much,
Mhm.
and he's trying to date his coworker, and it's like, especially because the show, like I said, it's dating, it's exaggerated things on dating, but it's real in in this universe, and he's trying to, tell this girl his feelings, and then it's like, a meteor's coming to the Earth, and we'll all be dead in 7 minutes. If you have something to say, you should probably say it now. And he's like, all right, he makes his move, and it totally backfires. She wants to be his friend, and he's like, oh. So and then he's like, at least we don't have to talk about this on work on Monday. And then it's like, this just in, scientists blew up the meteor, and we can all go to work on Monday.
What's the guy's name in that movie? What's the real actor?
Jay Baruchel.
Okay, that reminds me of that. He had one of the funniest, most unexpected moments in one of his movies. Was it Better Out of Your League?
She's Out of My League.
Out of My League. It's when he gets with that girl he shouldn't get with. Obviously, he's gonna marry her, and he's on the plane, and then he gets up, makes that big speech how he doesn't want to be with her, and like, fuck all you guys, and then oh sir, we left, and he's like, you mean I can't get out of here? He's like, no, you gotta sit down. Oh please, let me get out of here. And he has to sit there. That was great.
Doesn't he like flick his ears?
Yeah, he's just like sitting there like, damn.
Yeah, another part that actually me and Matt were talking about before, so I'm totally stealing this from Matt and trying to look smart, is when him and his, they're trying, there's these interviewers that are talking about if he's going to run for boyfriend. And
that was on the last episode before this one.
Are you going to run for boyfriend? And he's talking about, he goes, what does he say again?
Because
Take it away.
It's funny, it's like, because it dates with things everyone has while dating, because her boyfriend is literally perfect because he's Jesus.
Yeah, it's like everything we talk about with boyfriends,
Yeah.
They're perfect for them, and you're the only one that sees the
like apricot
wrong
guy
thing.
from Baskets, or is it Nectarine?
Nectarine guy.
Nectarine.
I think
Go
so,
on,
too.
sorry.
Yeah, but so it's like that. They approach him like, Josh, are you running for boyfriend? And he's like, oh no, I can't say that right now. He goes, do I disagree with his policies? Of course, especially his ones on like food. But I can't say that. Like I know, but it's totally like he's like a campaigning.
Yeah.
But so this one addresses like friend zones and stuff because he actually goes to the Supreme Court and makes a law that you have to be in a relationship with the person who's nicest to you.
That's pretty good.
And it's so funny because he's like, yes, I passed this law. I'm totally going to be your boyfriend. But then this hobo, like, opens the door for him. He's like, oh, thanks. And the hobo goes in an apartment. He's like, starts undoing his pants. And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just obeying the law, man. He goes, I was really nice to you, so I'm your boyfriend. and the best part is he can't. It's like the scene you're talking about because he's like, oh, I get it. This is my lesson for doing this. Just because someone's nice to you doesn't mean it's your boyfriend. Okay, can we get this law repealed? And they're like, yeah, right, you're congressman. And then they leave. So he ends up dating this hobo for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, they go into the bedroom and goes, do you like a lot of kissing? Or...
It's like, we'll figure it out. They actually go in.
I think you picked this one a couple weeks ago, and every time you talk about it, I'm more intrigued by it.
It's so clever. That's why I'm so keeping with it.
Show.
Because it's the only show, like, one of the very few shows I keep up with on a constant basis because it's so every episode's new and funny, and it's like they had to break up because the law gets repealed. So it's like, yeah, so I guess we're done. And the hobo's like, what about the wedding we're going to? And he's like, well, just cancel that. Like, you can't cancel it. They pay per head. You can't just cancel it. All right, we'll go as friends. And the hobo's heartbroken.
Yeah.
So it's like showing you why friend zone. Just because you're nice to a girl doesn't mean she should date you, obviously. And it's like it addresses all those things in such a funny, like, oh yeah, I totally understand. It makes total sense now, like, kind of way. It's so good.
And in the next week's episode, they're showing Eric Andre, who is going to be dating the girl that he wanted to date.
Oh yeah, so basically, it also next episode's going to address the fact that when your best friend dates somebody,
it shows Jay Baruchel.
Okay.
It shows Jay Baruchel, and he's doing all these musical numbers. He's like, "Have you guys had sex yet? But I don't care.
But I want to know." Like, he's like, "I'm totally cool with
stay
this."
tuned for that episode.
Yeah, keep watching Man Seeking Woman.
Okay, so My pick is Animals on HBO, and not only does it have terrible viewers and rating, critics hate it. Pretty much everyone hates it, but I think it is hilarious. It is a very crudely animated show about animals. Each episode is about a specific animal, and they have real human problems.
Sounds hilarious.
It's really funny. It probably should be on Adult Swim.
Is it like a BoJack Horseman kind of deal? Have you seen?
I haven't seen BoJack Horseman.
Well, I know because he's like a horse, and it's like.
It's
well, he's a horse, but he's a human.
Yeah, well, they have human problems. They're not like humans.
But it's an actual animal, though. Right?
Yeah, but they're all actual animals. The first episode is about mice, and then it kind of has a side story with horses. And the mice one is they all want to make it's having sex. They all want to make babies. That's what they say. Oh, I have never made babies before. And these people just they bang and then they have kids. That's just So this guy goes to a party and he's a really awkward mouse. He just cannot get laid for life depended on him. So this guy, the cool mouse, he's just banging all these other mice, and he has this secret pill. He calls it his blue pill. And it's supposed to be you think it's Viagra or ecstasy. It's really rat poison. So this guy, it's really funny. And there's another episode that I just watched. It was about cats. And there's a really funny segment where the mom leaves, and they're all, bye mom, miss you. Oh, she looks so good. She's doing great. It's these two spoiled cats, and then they're just okay, so 3:30, we're gonna go around the back of the couch, we're gonna claw this thing, and then we'll do this, then we'll go and do that, and we'll go take a nap together. It's really funny. I think it's hilarious.
It sounds really funny.
It's really crude, it's very vulgar, it's really kind of disturbing. But it's got good stories, and some of the endings are kind of touching in a way.
How many episodes are there so far?
I think there's about 3 right now. By the time this airs, it could be 4, but I'm pretty sure it's about 3 episodes. They're about 30 minutes, 25 minutes. But yeah, no one likes it except me. But you know what? The show's probably not gonna last very long. Maybe half a season if I'm lucky. But it's gonna be one of those shows where you see it later on, you're like, man, why was that canceled? That's my pick. I'm always excited to watch that show.
Right.
So good, decent picks. You're really not lazy one of the three of us.
It's on HBO. It comes on this is how you know it's not doing good. It comes on Fridays, maybe Saturdays, but it's really good. Please watch it.
Save the show, guys.
Yeah, save the shows. Save the good shows.
Save the blues.
Save the blues.
So that's gonna be it for us here.
Yep, wraps it all up. This is a special TV segment of Silver Screen and Chill. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching us.
We're probably gonna do this from now on, movies and TV.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Thanks for sticking around.
Oh, Seinfeld. Okay, I just got that.